Innovation, one of today's hottest topics on the speaker circuit. Our next speaker can bring his success as an idea guy, entrepreneur, and, get this, zoo dude to your event. It's time to find the next million-dollar idea as we welcome Terry Rich.
Thank you very much, Rex. Good morning. The American dream. I've gotten to live it. I'm a small-town farm boy from Iowa. Had the opportunity to be a CEO for the last 20 years, brand new businesses, current businesses, turnaround businesses, and now a state government official. So people who cuss CEOs and people who cuss government officials, it's kind of scary because I am now they. But today I'm going to talk a little about something that I think will pertain to any of your organizations, any of your events, in creating an innovative environment within your organization. Now, people are always looking for different things, and we're going to talk about creativity. I've always been told that I've been creative. I think that means that I was weird. I don't know if that's I've got ADHD or something like that, be able to come up. But I found over the years, the money comes when you're not creative. The money comes when you're innovative. A lot of people have a great idea, but unless they put that idea into action, and you all have great ideas, but until we put it into action, you don't make any money. You don't monetize it. A lot of people dream. I do a lot of dreaming every day about new ideas when things are going on, but until you do it, you can't monetize it. We all are taught to think outside the box. The people that are really good, the people that are really successful, you hear about them talking about, man, they were thinking outside the box, right? Because why do we want to think outside the box? Because that's where the million-dollar idea is. And that's what we want to talk a little about today, and I'd love to talk to your organization or audience about. We're going to talk about creating an innovative environment where you work. And I'm going to give you a simple point today to take back with you, a takeaway with all of this. A lot of people try to be innovative. A lot of people are very successful, but then they become extinct. Let me show you a few examples of that. Here's the first one, the post office. Look how well the post office did. But it was always, let's work Monday through Saturday. Let's work from this time to this time. This is how much it should cost. This is how it should be handled. UPS came along. They're not competition. We're the Postal Service. We can continue to do well. FedEx came along. Overnight delivery. We don't need that. People won't expect that. And look what happened. Another example, broadcast television. We talked about a little bit ago. They said 3 or 4 televisions. People will never pay for television, will they? Well, I came up through the cable business. That was my first job in cable television when cable wasn't cool, with Ted Turner, a huge innovator, and MTV and HBO. We got to help start it all. And in that, we found that, yes, in fact, people do. In fact, broadcast, talk about extinction without changing. Fox Network's now talking about actually giving up all of their airwaves and doing it direct streaming like Netflix is doing. Pretty interesting. But here's the prime example. Google Kodak. And the reason I mentioned Kodak, because The Economist said Kodak was the Google of its day. Listen to this. According to Forbes, Kodak didn't fail because it missed the digital age. In fact, Kodak invented the first digital camera. But the brains there said, hey, everybody's going to always want to print pictures, right? So we don't want to worry about this digital camera. It'll hurt our business. So in your session, in your discussion, in our discussions, we will talk about the different steps to creating an innovative environment. What's it like to work in a fun, innovative environment? I'm telling you, the cable business was so innovative. I had 20 years, and I think I had one bad day in the entire time. They were always asking us to create, what should we do? What could we do? We wrote the book. We couldn't touch anything that didn't turn to gold. It was so much fun. And here are the few of the lessons that I learned. Number one is, good leaders, which you are within your organization, create authority, allow authority, so that people that have an idea can take that idea and be the author of it and move ahead. Provide enough resources, whether it's people, money, and the experiences that go along with that. Being nimble. Change is inevitable. Being able to change, that Kodak did not do, is very important. But the one point I'd like to point out and give you a takeaway today is understanding that employees want to please. I never realized as I went to work, and I'm always saying, well, hey, how about this? How about that? Why don't, we were at the zoo. They said, we don't have enough young adults. All we have are kids. It's a kids zoo. We've got to expand our universe. So we were thinking, what do people want? Well, how about this? The young people they like to drink. So we decided, well, let's keep the zoo open a couple extra hours, and let's have zoo brew. Well, last week, they had 3,000 people attend the zoo brew here at the zoo. Been a huge success. But as I gave those ideas, I started seeing stress, especially in the current situation. I came into a government job, and I thought, well, as the lottery CEO, what about this kind of game, or how about this, or how about that? And the stress level over time grew and grew. And so we got everybody together to find out, well, why is everybody so stressed out? And they said, well, we can't do everything. I didn't realize when I walked out the door and I said, let's create a new game, that 2 or 3 people went out and they started creating the game, calling people in, starting the market research, doing all this. And, oh my gosh, but we've got to do our other business and all of our other job. And they became stressed. So we came up with a little technique that I'm going to give you right now. This is one to try when you get home. It's really pretty cool. Whenever you send a memo out and you want to give somebody an idea, and all of you have really good ideas, you probably sent it out and said, have you thought about? Here's an idea. Have you thought about? Well, at the top, we now put one of 3 little words, or 3 little acronyms. First is action required. That means if I'm the boss and I'm saying, have you thought about, and it says action required, you better do something about it. The second one is the one we all use. Everybody uses FYI, for your information, right? FYI, you should know about this. Maybe you should read this. That means read it when you can. You probably should know about it, but you really know action really required. But the one that really came together that reduced the stress and is a really cool way to create the innovative idea, probably the takeaway biggest one when I come out and speak to groups, is a simple one called COT. Yeah, go take a nap. No, that's not take a nap. I'm sorry. The idea of COT is consider or toss. Whenever I come up with an idea today that I don't really care, I just want to make sure I get it off my chest. I don't want to write it down or give it some. I just send a memo at the top. I put COT. That means if you receive this and you're busy, just hit delete. You don't even have to read it. I just want to get it off my chest. And what we found is the stress level came down, the ideas generated came up. As I gave an idea, someone said, well, yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. This might be a good one. And then people started enacting and innovating as we went ahead. So that was one of the biggest, very simple thing that you can do to, I think, continue to create great innovation within your organization. We'll also talk about making a decision. Nothing worse. When I come to work every day, and I'll guarantee every CEO that you've ever known, and you as a leader, any leader you've ever known, every time I drive in the parking lot, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm in charge of this joint. But when you walk in the door, what do employees want? They want decisiveness, and they want a decision. We'll talk about making a decision, why it's so important. And finally, I've done a lot of speeches, and everybody says, gosh, you got like a fairy tale life. You've had a great success. You've got 3 kids. They're all still there. You can do barbecues on Sunday nights. Haven't you ever failed? The number one thing I learned early on in creativity and innovation, it's better to have tried and failed than done nothing at all and succeeded. And I'm going to talk a lot about failure in mine. It's important because most of you have had an idea and you tried it and it didn't work. You gave up. You didn't try again. I learned early on that failure is the first step to success. This is a very famous philosopher. My very, very favorite philosopher. Her name's Brynley Dagstead. Anybody ever heard of her before? She's my granddaughter. One day I was home. She was crawling. She pulled herself up on the couch and she took her first step. And guess what happened? She failed. She fell over. 2 days later, she took 2 steps. Failed again. 3 steps, 4 steps. Failure is the first step to success. Now, I've had failure in my life. I started right out of college with failure. I decided, hey, I'm in cable television. I was doing some on camera with a gentleman named Bill Riley, who was well known in the area. And I noticed at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I didn't have this 5 o'clock shadow. So I picked up my Track 2 razor that I'm going to write to Schick and tell them how great I love the razor. It's a really cool razor. I know that in 2 weeks I got to try at least. I may fail, but I got to try at least. I could get a national commercial. So I wrote the letter up, told them how great it was, sent it in. 2 weeks to the day, I get the letter back from Schick. Here's what it said. Dear Mr. Rich, expressing your complete satisfaction with your Schick Track 2 razor. We appreciate writing us. We regret to inform you, however, you wrote the wrong company. Gillette makes the Track 2 razor. I did fail, huh? But I learned my lesson in doing a little bit of research before I move ahead. It motivated me, though, to continue to do lots of on-camera work and ultimately all the way up to HBO, Stars, many other different TV engagements that I've been able to do. But I learned very quickly, failure is the first step to success, and you can't be afraid to fail. And you cannot be afraid to motivate your folks to try something new, to bring innovation within your own organization. It's called the no-mans. It's when you sit around the boardroom table and say, give me 2 or 3 ideas, and someone says something. Anybody know what the no-mans are? They're the people that sit around and go, no, man, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. You've got to get rid of the no-mans within an organization and encourage people to try something, even though it's better to have tried and failed than done nothing at all and succeeded. Here's my $1 million idea for you today, though. I get calls all the time about giving me ideas. In fact, when you walk out of the room today, across the way there's a law firm. I own that building. And of course, everybody parked there when there was a big event at this conference center. And so I put up no parking, 24 hours. People parked there. 5 o'clock, any place to park, they pulled in there. Enforced, they parked there. So we brainstormed. Here was the ultimate idea. And when you go out, you can see this. It says towed car retrieval. And I just stuck any number up. We don't have anybody parking there anymore because there's something different about the psyche of, geez, if they're serious enough, they're going to put where to call if my car's towed. I better not be parking here, right? But here's one from Menlo, Iowa. Menlo, Iowa is located on exit 88. Don't forget that exit. Exit 88. Menlo, Iowa wanted to figure out a way to bring it. They're what, 2,000 people, 1,000 people maybe, dying town. We need to bring business in. 60,000 people go by Interstate 80 in Menlo, Iowa. So they called us in and said, we need something crazy. We need something fun. So here was the idea. We said, well, people go by, you need something to eat, but there's restaurants almost every rest area you stop, right? Second thing, you need what? Gas, but there's gas stations, and I really don't care which gas station I stop. Gas is gas. What's the third thing you need? Bathrooms, that's right. And not just any kind of bathroom, clean bathrooms. So we said, let's build a great big Morton building. Let's put 60 different stalls in there, make each of them different. In fact, let's call Gerber or Kohler, and we'll research what people like. So we'll have, after you come out, hey, which stall, what do you like? Let's have Charmin can provide the toilet paper. Heck, we can market T-shirts. You got to sell the side stuff, right? Like I got pooped out in Menlo. I got PO'd in Menlo. We'll sell Tootsie Rolls, Baby Ruths. We'll have relaxing chairs. We'll put a dog restroom outside, an outhouse so you can take pictures. But to kick it off, we'll bring in a king and we'll let the king sit on the throne for the kickoff. We'll have all the free publicity ever. But then it hit us. Exit 88. Every 3 miles, we were going to put a sign. And guess what the sign would say? Urinate at exit 88. So when you're driving home today, if you go by 88, you'll always remember Menlo, Iowa. Now, there's an idea that failed, but I guarantee you it's a great idea. You want clean restrooms when you stop by and you go out. Innovation for me really hit the big time when we came up with an idea for Little Cooper, Iowa, to adopt a 51st citizen. 51st citizen, it got big enough national press. We got to be on Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson suggested they might uplink the entire show from Cooper, Iowa. We'll tell the story about how we then worked with HBO to start doing uplinks so that all HBO free previews, Stars free previews, became a multi-million-dollar business for us with Rich Heritage Incorporated, doing work for HBO, Stars, Encore. We did business with Johnny Carson, Bob Hope, a lot of stories with a lot of celebrities, which I won't bore you with today, but are really fun to show that the key to innovation is creating the innovative environment. We'll put it together. And what I found, I've got a lot of people who've made a lot of money. I've met a lot of people who made a lot of money. They all have failed sometime in their life. There is absolutely no doubt. You hear about the successes. But to the person, even though they've made the money, and you've heard a lot of our speakers talk today, the other discussion we'll have as part of the speech and presentation that I do is talking about the chase being more fun than the catch. Once they get to that point, it's doing the deal. It's having the fun and being able to create that next new thing that a lot of people have that make it fun. I'm going to show you a simple example as I wrap up here. I went to Coeur d'Alene in Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The hotel there on the back of the toilet had this, and it says, waste reducing exfoliating body cleanser. What the heck is this? Looked at it a little closer, there's a hole in the middle. So I opened it up and pulled it out, not quite knowing whether it was a male or a female deal I was looking at, and I looked at it a little closer, and it's a bar of soap, but it had a hole in it. I'm thinking those darn accountants, because I'm a marketing guy, those darn accountants figured out you don't use the middle when you go to a hotel, you're only there a day or two, so they just gave you the outside of the bar, not the inside of the bar. Pretty innovative, huh? But here's what's really innovative. The piece in the middle was sitting on the sink. So they used 1 bar of soap and they cut it in 2 pieces, and now they only have to use 1 bar of soap per room versus another. That's innovation. So take home, consider or toss. I hope you'll consider me as for your events as you look down the road. And I hope you'll consider all these. I know the Midwest Speakers Bureau has done a great job in representing many of us, and it really makes events fun when you can add to. But mine is to be there to help you and to motivate your folks to be thinking about the next new idea and creating an innovative environment within your organization. And I often do half hours or hours afterwards with an executive committee to actually say, what's the problem you're having now, and do a brainstorming session with 100 really fast ideas like we just discussed that may spark that one new idea that really works. So contact the Midwest Speakers Bureau. We'll talk about creating an innovative environment. Have a great day, and I appreciate your audience today. Thank you very much.